thought I'd do a video. Wow. I thought I'd do a video, and I left it open to like any topic, because sometimes I have a topic in mind, but that conversation naturally flows in another direction. And today I thought I would talk a little bit about helmets, because did you eat your breakfast? She ate part of her breakfast. It's kind of a hot topic. It's a topic that a lot of people get really upset about. There's a lot of different opinions on the helmet debate. There's a lot of people that say, oh, if you ride Western, you shouldn't wear a helmet. There's a lot of people that say, oh, if you're an influencer or in social media, have the public eye, you should always wear a helmet because you're an inspiration. You should always wear a helmet. There's people that say, I don't have to wear a helmet. It's my head. There's a lot of different opinions on helmets and who should or should not wear them. And I thought I'd leave it kind of open-ended to see what everybody thinks. I'm definitely surprised by the general cost of helmets, which I get it, with more and more current technology, they would become more expensive. Oh, here's a Reddit. We'll read this. No, I'm not gonna stand up. Why would I stand up? I have enough creeps on the internet. I don't need another. So someone said, why do some people say riding helmets don't help? It says doesn't help. That is incorrect grammar. Don't help. And this is Our Horses Large Imagination 36 is the poster. And it says, hey guys, so I'm really confused and genuinely wondering why Western riders say that wearing a riding helmet is useless. I'm from the EU, and here we have a rule that you have to wear a riding helmet. I know there are some that don't, of course, but those are mostly people who have their horses at home or privately owned farms and stables. Thanks for your input. So then some of the opinions are because they don't want to wear them. I always say if you have a brain worth saving, you will wear your helmet. I disagree with that opinion, but it won't let me downvote. My trainer had a student die from a head injury because the person wasn't wearing a helmet. He made sure his students always wear helmets. I cringe when I see a rider without a proper helmet. Oh, that's going to be another topic we talk about, is what is a proper helmet? Because there's a lot of opinions on that. So you can care for an animal and still do things that are harmful or neglectful to them. I personally think that racing 2-year-olds is kind of wrong because it's so much hard work at an early age. I support horse racing if we would just do it with a little bit older horse. I think there's nothing wrong with saying I want to have the fastest horse. I do question why horse racing? Like, what purpose does it serve? It'd be one thing if we were, trying to find fast horses to breed for a cavalry unit. Well, you want a fast and strong horse. But horse racing is mostly entertainment and gambling nowadays. Personally, I have no issue with racing itself. I have an issue with how early they race them. I think riding 2-year-olds is fine, and people can lampoon me for that. I do not care. I think it's how much you ride them and how you ride them that matters. I don't think any 2-year-old should have a legit job. I think 2-year-olds need to be 2-year-olds. So I had a friend that died with a helmet on. Helmet didn't do anything. The argument that, somebody died without one isn't really an argument. Like, it's very individual. If you're racing 7-year-olds, then I fully support it. Whips are not abuse. I use a crop on my lesson horse right now because he's a little twat and he sometimes acts like can't go forward, and then suddenly the crop comes out and he's like, oh my gosh, I can go forward. Didn't do it. There we go. So my point was, what's the purpose of horse racing? Most people, it's for their entertainment or gambling. My point was, if we were racing horses to decide a sire for a cavalry horse, and you want something that's fast and strong, then I'm like, okay, I understand the purpose of racing. But so far, the only thing I can think of that's a purpose for racing is gambling and just to watch, which is fine. If you just want to watch, that's fine. But like, what's the purpose of having the fastest horse that runs a straight line and turns left? It's not like you're breeding for a purpose. Your only purpose is whose horse is the fastest. Why? Like, what purpose is there? So, sport and tradition. The sport is just running really fast. Those horses have no purpose post-racing. Most of them are broken down because of racing. So again, does the purpose outweigh the good or bad? No. If it's just for you to be like, oh, it's tradition, we just run horses, I think there needs to be a better reason. And that may just be an unpopular opinion. I think there should be a better purpose than just sitting and watching and, oh, well, we've always done it. Cool, they always did slavery. And then they realized, hey, you know, that's probably not okay. We grow as a society. No, I'm not against animal sports. Tell me how my reason is broad enough to write off all sporting events. That got dark. So it doesn't write off all equestrian sporting. So ranch riding, purpose, riding on a ranch. Western pleasure, the purpose of Western pleasure was an introductory riding class for new riders to get into horse showing. The point of it was that they would then also get better and move out of that industry. Barrel racing is just running fast around 3 cans. I personally don't see a huge outside of showing purpose. Doesn't mean there isn't one, it's just that I don't see it. Jumping, ooh, it's fun. You know, it's not like we're riding across country anymore where it's like we need to run mail down the line. You know what I mean? Reining, the purpose is, I forget if reining has a cow working portion, don't they? Again, reining horses could go into cow working, cutting horses, obvious, ranch horses, obvious, Western pleasure, obvious, dressage is very obvious. Dressage's purpose was to create, so dressage literally means training, and dressage horses were made to function in the war. So as I said, riding 2-year-olds is fine. It's how and how much. It's not the riding. I have no issue with the riding. Yep, 2-year-olds are still growing. They grow until anywhere between 6 and 8 years old. So the argument of, well, we can't ride them, they're still growing, is ignorant. Because they're still growing until 6 and 8 years old. And I'm not like against racing. I've already said that. I'm not against racing. I think we should race them at a later age. I see no reason other than money that they race 2-year-olds. They race 2-year-olds because it's cheaper to raise them for 2 years than for 3 or 4 years. No, they pretty much stop growing anywhere between 6 and 8 years old, but every horse is an individual. So bigger horses tend to take longer to grow, smaller horses tend to take a little less time. I'm not against racing, I just think that they should race them later. And my whole point was, I just don't see a huge purpose in racing, outside of literally just running and turning left. But all of those things are important. You know, supporting all of those different industries are important. My point simply was, what's the afterlife of a racehorse look like? Like, each of the disciplines, you can like see, okay, they can veer off into this job, this part of life. A racehorse, it's like, okay, they can run really fast and turn left. That's it. Again, I don't think a discipline should be there just because it's entertainment and a social event. I don't think that's a good enough reason. I think there are other reasons that it's good. I agree there. I'm just saying that entertainment is not a good enough reason to continue to create a bunch of horses and dump them. Because let's face it, the racehorse industry cripples a lot of horses, breeds a lot of horses that they then send down the slaughter pipeline, creates a lot of orphan foals, damages a lot of young horses. Oh, I was trying to read your comments, Serenity. What did you say? I agree, Megan should be Megan the Mare, but it just shows how ignorant she is of actual equestrian things. The only prayer I have for Diddy is that he gets what he deserves. No, that is not true, Orlando. That is very not true. Well, I don't want to stop horse races. I've said that from the beginning. I have no issue with horse races other than I don't see any like natural progression into another job, which there doesn't always have to be. You know, I mean, there's certain things that I don't see an external purpose for. Doesn't mean it's not a valuable part of the equestrian industry. I don't want to stop horse racing. I'm simply questioning different parts of it, which seems to offend some people. They actually get killed for multiple reasons. That's why there's a bunch of foals that get killed. Because they use, what is it, recip mares, I believe? No, I'm not a barrel racer. I don't like barrel racing. Although, I have been doing a little barrel racing in poles lately, just to try and get my horse so that this girl can, do it with him, but that's such a crazy way to word that. I would say the same thing whether I won money or not. I think morality should not be dependent on money. My morality does not change based on money. Just because I win a bunch of money doesn't mean I don't also sit there and question the efficacy of it. Great example being my little mare that won me a ton of money, 4 buckles, and a saddle. I sat there and wondered if I did the right thing by her for a long time until she found her forever home. But racing, see, and that's where I disagree. Racing machines is boring. There's something about watching an animal go full out that is beautiful. Dang, penguin walrus, maybe you shouldn't bet, man. No, I'm about the purpose of their life. I care about the purpose of breeding them. I care about the purpose of what you do with them. I always tell people you should always have a reason why you do what you do. So I'm teaching a young girl how to ride my horse. And I always say there needs to be a reason why you do what you do, because that's my trainer mindset, right? I need to always understand, why am I working on this exercise? What do I hope to achieve? What do I hope to improve? Which is why I sit there and I say, what's the purpose of racing, post-racing? Nothing. There's no purpose to it once you're done racing. The horses then go, and they're just these horses that know how to run really fast and turn left. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of how I am with horses. Like, I'm not going to sell you a horse just to get rid of it. I'm going to care about it fitting your needs. But that's just my opinion. I'm not against racing. I think people enjoy racing, let them race. But I also think we need to consider, where do these horses go after they're done racing? Oh yeah, I already figured that out. But I appreciate you. No, I'm passionate about horses. I just have a lot of opinions. I'm passionate about the equine industry. I'm not necessarily passionate about the racing industry. I actually don't generally have a lot of strong opinions about the horse racing industry, simply because it's one of the industries I've not had any experience in. I've not had any interest in. I don't watch the races because to me it's like, oh cool, horses running and turning left. Cool. I did watch the Kentucky Derby the year I was in Kentucky, which was fun. I didn't get to see it in person, but it was cool to watch it while you were there. We started this conversation with helmets, but now we've kind of moved to racing, and that's why I don't pick a topic and stick with it, because usually someone has some crazy comment or opinion that, like, I can't not address. Not sure how we got started on horse racing, but I'm hoping to start doing some videos riding and working horses again, but I think that's more an issue of indoctrination. So if I were indoctrinated to racing, yes. But you would have to, if I was the same person I am now and I just lived there, I would still not support it blindly, because that's not who I am. If I were raised around it and I wasn't taught to question things, I would maybe support it blindly, but I don't support any of the things that I was raised with blindly. I don't support Western pleasure blindly, and I did that for years and years and years. I don't support Mustangs blindly. I think about it. I question it. I'm like, is this what's right for that horse? Is this what's right for that HMA? Is this what's right for the person adopting them? We are talking about horses. We were talking about helmets, but I don't really know how we got to horse racing. The underlying theme is horses, yes. I mean, it is though, because I would say, don't they wear helmets when they race? I'm sure they do. They're English. Yeah, jockeys always wear helmets. I was gonna say. Yeah, no, mixing them to create a new breed is not a thing. That's called a grade horse. I know, it's my boyfriend's headset. I don't know what that is, but okay. I'm not really sure how to respond to that one for you. I'm gonna do horses later today. I'm waiting to see if the little kid that I'm gonna maybe give a lesson to has any time to come ride. But I'm not going to the barn until later, and if he does, I can't. He's a young boy, so I can't take video of him. I might try to get a picture or two if they're okay with that, but other than that, I don't share children. You know, it's one thing when I share a picture of my Lisi or a video of my Lisi. She's, 16, so, and she consented and her parent consented. But when they're younger than that, even with consent, I don't always feel very good about that, because there are just bad people on the internet. Why are there no black horse jockeys? What a wild question. See you later. Someone on the internet just asked, why are there no black horse jockeys? I have a guess why. Huh. it's kind of sad, actually. Yeah, people are strange. Well, they're not creepy random kids. They are my students. I'm not out there taking pictures of random children. Well, and that's the thing. So this is an unpopular opinion. I don't think any youth under the age of 13 should have social media. I don't think any youth under the age of 18 should have unmonitored social media. Sorry, dude, I clickbaited ya. I don't think anyone under 13 should have social media. You don't need it. It's just a very negative world. It's a very dangerous world. It's evil people who will take advantage of innocence. And I don't think anyone under 18 should have unmonitored social media. I think parents, if you allow your child to have that social media, you need to be actively involved. You need to watch, because there's a lot of creeps in the world that prey on people innocently trusting. But I don't know. I have strong opinions about kids. I told you why, Penguin. Don't make me mute you. You think I won't? There were no real, like, most of these answers on this thread were very immature and negative. There's a lot of very unique opinions. It doesn't really matter if they have their own phone. You as a parent need to do your job and protect your child. It doesn't matter if they have their own phone. I didn't have a phone until probably like 13 or 14 because there was no need for me to have one until I started getting jobs. And then I had to have one because I needed to be like, hey mom, I'm done, come pick me up. Yeah, and see, but that's a good parent, Serenity. They're protecting you, as they should. Oh, social media absolutely gives people insecurities. It exacerbates insecurities because people who don't know anything about you will say things about you like they know you. Like I've had people call me ugly, and I'm like, well, that's obviously not true, but it still eats at ya. Well, we were talking about horses now. For some reason, we're on to kids with social media. I think more people are watching corn because their parents aren't actively involved and saying, hey, here's what's right and what's wrong. Exactly, Serenity. I'm always red. It's because I spend a ton of time in the sun. That's why nobody can tell if I'm actually blushing or not, because I'm already baked, okay? I'm already red. It's already there. I'm not a gamer. I actually am gonna probably try to do a stream where I play a game, but not today, or it won't be until later today, because I have stuff to do. Yeah, I realized post saying it that sounded like something else, so I was like, well, it's said. People can take it how they want. Oh, I'm sure most people don't know about parental controls. I also think there's loads of people who use parental controls and still aren't actively involved in parenting their children. Just using parental controls is not enough. That is I don't really want to have to check on my child, so I'm just going to put parental controls on, and that's good enough, right? I'm trying to find another comment thread because I'm tired of reading the same responses, and it is not working. I'm still scrolling. Oh, well, it's gone. All right, rude. Let's see if I can find a cool topic. Horses. I am not a minor. I feel like that's obvious. See, I love that serenity. I do want to do trivia again. I just haven't gotten to. Now that I have Tyson's computer, though, I can do more trivia, and maybe we'll do some trivia tonight. It just depends on work. I've been working so much lately. Whew, Ashley, you are brave. No thank you. I know, give it up for Ash. Being an absolute legend. Because I could never. Oh. Here's a funny one. Is owning a horse really that expensive? How dare you? So I'm gonna read some of this thread. Do I have any equestrians actually in here, though? Well, we're gonna find out, Tyler. Because I personally don't think that owning horses is particularly expensive. You do ride? Okay. Horses are more for upkeep now. Yeah, see, they've become more and more clever on how to hide stuff, Serenity. So, like, I pay $380 for board on one horse. That's stall board. And that's every month. But my lease covers that. And then farrier is about $60. So my feed is included in my board. So that includes hay, grain, I clean his stall. Farrier's about $60. Cairo's about $50. The first one is usually $75. Other than that, vet bill, my last vet bill for Reno was about $160-ish, $180. But yeah, so hay and grain are included. I have to do his stall, but obviously I don't have to pay for shavings and stuff. I have not been there when a foal was born. I've been there right after. It's kind of insulting to say a trending hobby to own a horse. It's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. I have no idea. They're my boyfriend's. They're not mine. Astro Gaming. It is a lot of money, but at the same time, like, I can actually, do you feel like a beached whale? Girl, you have every right to feel that way. Nope, that's not even factual. I can do stalls, and that helps for my board too. And like I said, I have a girl that's leasing him, so she actually is covering his board. No, I don't have that. Let's see. So this person says, I board at one of the most affordable places in my area, and owning my horse costs me, after board, insurance, I don't have insurance, I don't know who would do that, shoeing, supplements, and training, about $1,200 to $1,500 a month, as long as nothing goes wrong. That's insane. A friend boards at a fancier place and does top level training. Her horse costs her about $5,000 a month, as long as nothing goes wrong. My other friend keeps horses on her land. She lives a few hours away from us in a rural area. It costs her about $500 a month to keep 2 horses in her yard with feed, hoof trims, and supplements. This is the best part of their comment. Horses are very expensive, either with time or money, and you can decide which works best for your lifestyle when you decide to own them. I do train my own horses. Good for you, Ashley. The funniest moment I've had with a horse, funniest moment with a horse. Well, one of my favorite memories is Ginger Duke, who's a really, really talented trick rider and trainer, screaming at me from across the arena saying to look up because I kept looking down. Or her husband, I'm gonna say, telling me to stop looking at his head, that he promised his head wouldn't disappear if I looked away from it. Those are pretty funny. Or when my horse cannonballed into a river. That was funny. That was really bad. Um, it depends on what your version of difficult is. Taking lessons isn't hard. That's the best place for people to start, is to take lessons. I was just gonna say, what did you say, Serenity? I don't believe that. There's lots of male horse riders, so I really doubt that. I've never heard of board being over $1,000. That's insane. It was courage, and he didn't know how to get in the river. He had watched every other horse go into the river, and for some reason he didn't understand he could walk into it, so he jumped, and I about came off. I guess I'm a professional rider simply by the most base of definitions. I'm paid to ride horses. That's the definition of a professional, is someone who's paid to do something. So I am a professional on that front, I guess. I've won buckles, I've won a saddle, I've won money, but I'm certainly not, like, up there. No, it sounds like you're the one who's struggling, because horses are actually pretty smart. Some of them can be dumb. I had one that was really, really dumb. He put a hole in his own head. He's fine, but he put a hole in his own head. I'm sure Serenity knows which horse that was. A horse trying to kick you doesn't mean they're dumb. It just means that you did something that upset them, so they tried to tell you to stop, and the only way they could tell you to stop that you would listen to was them trying to kick you. I don't mean that to be accusatory, I'm just saying, usually they kick for a reason, like being scared, or, I can't stand thoroughbreds. I had an appendix, which means that it was a quarter horse with thoroughbred in it. That was the dumbest horse I'd ever worked with. My old neighbor used to say horses eat money and poop work. He's not wrong. Right, so they kick for a reason. Some horses want to run. Not all horses. I have one right now that doesn't want to run. He's a bum. I spent $40,000 on a horse I bought for $5,000 in 1 year. That's insane. Heck no. Goodness. So, alfalfa in Arizona high country, so this was 7 months ago. 1 bale of alfalfa in Arizona high country is $19.95 a bale. Bermuda hay is $23 a bale in the Arizona high country. During COVID, alfalfa got up to $30 a bale. That's insane. Yeah, Ashley, I would not go riding anytime soon, hun. Pop those babies out and then you can start riding. riding is actually not the worst if you have a horse that's really safe, but it has to be a horse that you know is safe and will not hurt you. And there's still, I think, the first part of your pregnancy you shouldn't ride, and then the last part of your pregnancy. But staying physically active can make birthing easier. A horse chewed off a piece of your hair? That's so sad. So do you need any prerequisite skills for horse riding, is what you're saying? I think some of the skills that you need before you ride are you need to be able to be humble, listen to what somebody is saying and not take it personally, because nothing about learning to ride is about attacking you. It's about bettering you. Jeez. Being physically fit helps a lot. Like, if you're really, really out of shape, riding is going to be hard for you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means you have to go into it understanding that some of the things that some people can do, you probably can't yet because you're not physically fit enough. I have balance issues, and I actively ride. Balance issues should not stop you from riding, unless it shouldn't stop you from riding. If you have an extreme balance issue, like something like maybe Tourette's, where you throw yourself around, get, a therapeutic riding facility to help you. If it's just, oh, I really stink at balance, you just practice until you get better. I don't have great balance, and I ride horses. I ride colts that try to buck me off. You ate soap in school? That's questionable. I'm just amazed by these people. Like, I've never spent that much on a horse. I won't. Like, I buy my horses really cheap. That's crazy. That's crazy. Cheapest boarding I found in my area of this SF South Florida Bay Area was, I'm assuming that's what it is, South Florida Bay Area, was $1,250 a month for a 12x12 stall, not including turnout. That's insane. Thank you. Jumpers are expensive. I don't understand jumpers. I'm sure that other horses have eaten people's hair, but I haven't heard a lot. That's crazy. I love when someone puts a quantitative that is completely insane. Doing it right is extremely expensive. There's no way to determine what doing it right is, because for every horse it's different. Some horses need a bunch of shoes and vet work and all this fancy crap. And some horses you can get by with, I trim his feet every once in a while and that's it. Someone wrote, is owning a horse expensive? Yes. Take $500, light it on fire. Now do it again. If you're unbothered, horse ownership might be for you. That is delightful. Take $500 and light it on fire. Now do it again. If you don't care, horses are for you. I'm just surprised by these answers because I've never had horse ownership cost that much, even when I had multiple horses. Like this, expect a minimum of $1,000 to $1,500 a month per horse. I tell you right now, I don't spend that much. I wouldn't be able to own horses if it cost that much. We have a Ren Fair coming up. I'm super excited about it. Ugh, so many long answers. I don't need an epistle. Yeah, I've heard this said a lot. Depends, but over time the buying price of the horse will probably turn out to be the least expensive thing about it. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. If you can't afford the buying price, you probably don't want horses. You will either pay with time or money. Horses cost a lot when things go well, and cost more when things go wrong. I have one horse right now. I had two. I sold the one. I buy, train, and sell horses, so I'm always moving them. Which is why sometimes I have one, but sometimes I have two. See, I don't know how much a pound is. Like how much that equates to $1. I don't understand the people who are like, I easily spend $1,000 on my horse a month. I'm like, okay, good for you. Oh, I have 2 Mustangs. $650 a month to board both. Occasionally I'll pay for farrier and shots, but that's it. Their teeth are always good. That is not true. You need to get dental. Don't need a blanket and all that jazz. That is true. Gritty with tough genes. I paid $125 for each. That's how you do it. But that's not true. Their teeth are not always good. You need to get their teeth done. I just can't believe it. I don't understand the people who say, oh, their teeth are fine, but they never get them checked. How much for my horse? Is that what you're asking? I'd sell him for about $5,000 right now. But I don't really want to sell him, which is why I put it at $5,000. If someone said, hey, I'll pay you $5,000 for that horse today, I would say, maybe. Hey, that's a good analogy. A 10-cent goldfish requires a $400 tank setup. Now magnify that to horse size. Ashley, I have a problem with my hips. I wonder why. Oh, funny. People who live out in the middle of nowhere tend to have money. That's why they live there. I want to disagree, but I do think they're probably right. This is a very not true response. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. That's not true. You can ask and still be able to afford it. In fact, it's smarter to ask first. Yeah, it is funny how he made that flip. But anyway, hopefully y'all had fun. I just thought I'd do a little video really quick. Oh, you got horse information, huh? You know, actually, I have trouble with my hips. So I do get that. Neither, Meow Hamid Ali. Have anything to do with the breeding industry. I have next to zero interest in the breeding industry. I have interest in the horse industry. I like to train. Cool, bye. You're so dramatic. But I am probably going to end it here. How many different industries are there with horses? Too many to count. I mean, there's breeding, training, boarding, farrier vet, insurance, chiro, massage, acupuncture, the magna wave thing, the red light therapy, the barefoot farrier versus shoeing farrier. Those are two separate industries. There's holistic veterinary medicine for horses, insurance, the whole show industry, which then segments into different showing industries. There's a lot of different industries with horses, which is why sometimes it can be overwhelming to find what you want to do because there's so many. It's like, how do I know what I want to do? But anyway, hope y'all have a good day, and I will maybe do another video later. We will see. Depends on how bored I am.